Group of 2, group of 3, is that right? You guys are group of 3? You guys can come on down. I'll get you guys coming down as well. My group of 3, right? You guys are 3? Awesome. So I'm going to have you guys heading down this hatch right over here. So if you guys just sort of line up along the far railing there, just kind of want to avoid this moving ramp. Yeah, you guys can head over there.
Ramp, that wall.
Yeah.
There you go. You can head on down. You just follow Papa right on down.
Go all the way down.
Side. Looks like you're going to get the first view of our plate reef system. Ooh, so we have one of our big-eyed emperor fish, this big silver guy swimming in. Port side, feel free, you can take a peek over starboard shoulder. There's no rules that say you can't, you know, take peeks over. And like I said, we will be switching the views, so port side, don't worry. I promise you're going to get a good view of our reef system that we have down here. So what we're looking at right now, this is a plate reef system that we have out here. We estimate it's a few hundred years old. Reef systems are very hard to kind of gauge the age of the coral. But coral is a very slow-growing animal. It is an animal out here. Let's see. Oh, so, okay, point out some fish for you guys. So there's a couple of fish. I see one, there's two looking at us. These kind of, so the first one, the one that's a little bit higher, that's a big-eyed emperor fish. And then the one that's a little bit lower, kind of almost right underneath that emperor fish, that's one of our porcupine fish that we have out here. The porcupine fish, that's the one that sort of looks like a turkey leg down there with big eyes. Kind of looks like he's smiling at us. The porcupine fish, they sort of look like pufferfish. They're actually not even in the same family as pufferfish. They do have a mechanism, they will inflate just like our pufferfish will. When they inflate, they have long spines sticking out of their skin, hence their name's porcupine fish, right? They're also another kind of main difference from the porcupine to the pufferfish. Our porcupine fish, they have two teeth, one on top, one on bottom. They're sort of like plate teeth that they'll grind their meals up. And our pufferfish, they actually have four teeth. All right, it looks like we're starting to spin around. We'll give our port side a view of our plate reef system here. So the coral that we're looking at, I mentioned it's a plate reef coral. Coral is an animal out here. You guys notice that everything's kind of blue now that we're down. We're about 99 feet right now. We'll break 100 in a few moments. The reason why everything's pretty much blue and not very coming into this area, this is sort of where the life of the reef starts. All these little nooks and crannies for our fish to hide in. We're getting deeper too. We're going to get a good view of that reef on my port side here for you guys. Yeah, you notice we're kind of up on a hill for the most part right now, and you can see it sort of sloped down, and you can really see that color change. Getting bluer and bluer.
You can lean over, but you can't switch sides because you're balancing right now.
Alright, so let's see so the yellow ones that we're seeing down here, those are our yellow tangs. Those little bright yellow ones right on top of the reef system, taking off little bits of algae. These guys, they're pretty interesting. They can actually live quite a long time. There's a record of one in captivity that's over 40 years old. Oh, and there's a couple of other fish that are very similar in shape to the yellow tangs. They're both yellow. They have these long noses. Those are our long-nosed butterfly fish. There's 3 of them kind of hanging down here. These guys will actually bait for life. One more fish, so this little yellow fish that's kind of swimming sort of away from the reef with the large black spot on its tail. That's a millseed butterfly fish that we have out here. So there's all our yellowfish. Everyone's hanging out with us today. And did you guys notice there's sort of like a ledge coral? They're not afraid of us at all. They see us every day. That's part of the reason. We also don't completely clean the outside of the submarine, so we leave little bits of algae, and so we're kind of like a salad bar for these guys out here. They'll come and, you know, pick off bits of algae from us. So they like to see us. And if it looks like they're looking at you, they actually can see us. They can see us as well as we can see them. So, you know, we're kind of the aquarium exhibit to them. You know, we're on their turf right now. Oh, and you guys take a look, so getting a little closer. Here's another one of those big-eyed emperor fish. That larger silverfish hanging out. Oh, and we've got a Moorish idol. Oh, and a peacock grouper too, really neat. So the Moorish idol is right down there. That's the one with the large, it's actually believe they're one of the most intelligent fish on our reef system here. We're going to flip it around from our port side too, so don't worry. I promise I'll give you another view, and I'll point these out when it's on the port side as well. But yeah, scientists have found that Moorish idols have been able to develop complex escape routes through their coral homes. They were also in Finding Nemo too. That was Gil, the one who was always trying to escape the aquarium. So pretty accurate representation of him, you know, trying to get out. Very intelligent. They also can excrete a toxin in their skin that smells a lot like ammonia or urine. So you can imagine, you know, we don't want to eat anything that smells like that. The fish are the same. They don't want to eat anything. So no real predators out here for those Moorish idols. You've got the Carthaginian port side. You've got this shark. So this shark, I mentioned he's just hanging out down there. He's totally fine. What he's doing now is called buccal pumping, and the mechanisms that they use to breathe, that's that buccal pumping, kind of the mechanics behind that. They'll actually flex the muscle in their face and around their mouths, and they'll pull in the water, and that's how they're able to breathe. As they pull in that water, they send it over over their gills. Oh, you guys see another? Yeah, oh, a swimming white-tipped reef shark out there on my port side. Very cool. Swimming white-tipped reef shark. So we got that one that's hanging out, giving us a good representation of that buccal pumping. And then we got one swimming. And we're going to flip the views around. Now that we're coming a little bit higher on the port side, you can see this large opening into the Carthaginian. That's the cargo hold where they would have stored all their goods. The ship itself is actually about 100 years old. It was originally built in Germany in the 1920s. It was based as a sailing cargo ship, but during that time frame, the marine industry was just booming, so it was obsolete pretty quickly. And it eventually made its way over to Lahaina, where it was used as a whaling museum for many years. They converted it, put a bunch of different displays on the whaling industry and how that affected the area. You're actually walking around down in the town. All these art galleries typically have some painting that you can find of the Carthaginian when it was docked right in Lahaina Harbor here. Oh, really good shot. So all these fish, this large school of sort of yellowish fish right over there, those are yellowfin goatfish that we have. And if you look at them, you'll notice kind of right on the base of their chin, there's two little, they look like little wispies, maybe little pieces of, I don't know, just two little wispy things hanging off. Those are barbels. Those are actually sensory organs that they can use independently. They can move them independently, and they'll dig around in the sand trying to pull up small invertebrates to munch on. Yeah, those are yellowfin goatfish. They typically school in large numbers like this. Safety in numbers, right? And coral itself is really finicky. There's, in the entire world's oceans, there's less than 1% of the world's oceans that can habitate, can kind of, you know, be homes for coral, or habitable for coral. That's what I'm trying to say. So less than 1% of the world's ocean. So you can imagine that's not a lot. And the reason why, it has to do with how much salinity is in the water, how much sunlight the water in that area gets, how much wave action as well. So our currents come into play. If there's too much current, the coral polyps can't attach to anything on the seafloor and grow. And speaking of the coral polyps, machinery that would have raised and lowered the anchor on the starboard side, or excuse me, on the port side bow there. Starboard side, you guys are getting a view at our captain's cabin, this large square structure that we have out here. Notice there's no roof or anything like that. That's actually because when we were sinking the Carthaginian, there was an air bubble trapped, and it blew the roof off. So we had to send divers down to pick up each little piece of roof, because, you know, of course we don't litter out here in Atlantis. Yeah, very cool shot. We don't always get to go over the very top like that, so that's always neat. Like to grow on. Yeah, main idea for bringing her down here was to create an artificial reef, and I think we're doing a pretty good job at that. All these white patches, these are our corals starting to attach. There's a ton of fish. There was pretty much nothing out here before they sank her. Now all these fish like to live and hang out around our Carthaginian here. And this is the resting place. This is where she will remain untouched. We actually leased the land underneath the Carthaginian for its 20-year lease that's coming up in about 3 years, so that'll be renewed. So we do own the ship and the land. Well, lease the land, but. Yeah, if anyone's curious. So there's another Moorish idol coming over on the port side there, hanging out. Yeah, really cool. I love to see them out here. I think they're one of the prettiest fish out here, the Moorish idols. They're not just a pretty face, that's that really intelligent one. 131. We have a little tradition here at Atlantis. Oh, they're at 132. We'll actually rest on the seafloor for a moment. Oh, there it is. We're now on the seafloor. And perhaps you brought someone special. If you would like to give them a hug or a kiss, this will be the deepest hug, the deepest kiss they've ever received. Give my port side a chance to check out